Hello and welcome to another episode of Podcast DX, the show that brings you interviews with people just like you, whose lives were forever changed by a medical diagnosis. I'm Lita.
I'm Ron.
And I'm all abuzz about... I'm all abuzz about this episode.
She's tired, too.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, we are the hosts of Podcast DX. On today's show, we are speaking about the world's deadliest animal.
I didn't realize this show was about the hippopotamus.
Nope.
Okay, I think I know this one. Bunny rabbits.
What?
They're terrifying.
Gene, be serious.
Hey, I've seen what killer rabbits are capable of doing.
Never heard of it.
Right. Okay, sure. Anyways, now we're using Monty Python and the Holy Grail as an informational resource. I can see where this show is going.
Yep, that reminds me. Mom, what's your favorite color?
Okay, back to the show. We're talking about the world's deadliest animal other than humans.
All right, seriously, we're talking about sharks then, right?
No, not sharks. They get a bad rap. We're talking about something far deadlier. Mosquitoes. Bzzz. Oh, no,
yeah, mosquitoes really suck.
Yeah, they do.
In more ways than one. They suck your blood, and they suck the fun out of all your outdoor activities.
Yes, and today we're going to talk about mosquitoes.
All right, let's get buggy with it.
According to the World Health Organization, mosquitoes' ability to carry and spread diseases result in millions of human deaths every year. In 2015 alone, malaria caused 438,000 deaths.
Wow, right. And climate change is only increasing the mosquito's habitat. I'll also refer to the World Health Organization stats. The worldwide incidence of dengue, which is also a fever, has risen 30-fold in the past 30 years. More and more countries are reporting their first outbreaks of dengue fever.
Right, and Zika, dengue,
Chikungunya.
Chikungunya.
It's easy for you to say.
Yeah, and yellow fever are all transmitted to humans by the Aedes aegypti mosquito, and may or may not have said that correctly. More than half of the world's population live in areas where this particular mosquito species is actually present.
More than half of the world's population?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, because mosquitoes, you don't think about them like in the Antarctic.
No, you don't.
No.
Not yet.
No.
They will be, though.
Okay.
Did you know that there are several types of mosquitoes, and some actually have the ability to carry and spread many different diseases?
Well, Zika, which only used to be found in Africa, is now also found in Micronesia, Polynesia, South and Central and North America. And as climate changes, so does the breeding ground for vectors like mosquitoes.
Yeah, the CDC says that the number of illnesses caused by the bite of an infected mosquito, ticks and fleas, has more than tripled in the United States. And the country is not fully prepared to handle this increased burden. And according to data from the new CDC Vital Signs report, more than 640,000 cases of vector-borne illnesses like Zika, West Nile virus, and Lyme disease were reported to the National Notifiable Disease Surveillance System.
Wow.
By state health departments from 2004 through 2016. And although the actual total is thought to be much higher than this figure, because not all cases are going to be reported or reported properly.
Okay. And again, climate change is thought to be a major factor in the spread of vector-borne diseases, especially Lyme disease, as ticks move northward into areas that were previously too cold for their survival.
Right, and seasons actually occur, like spring occurs earlier in some areas, so you have mosquitoes breeding sooner in the year and for longer durations as well.
Okay.
At this time, there are several mosquito-borne illnesses that can be found here in the continental United States. Most notably, heartworm, West Nile, Eastern equine encephalitis, Zika, and dengue fever can also be found here in the U.S.
Right. Dengue is a serious arboviral disease of the Americas, Asia, and Africa. It has a low mortality rate, but has very uncomfortable symptoms and is becoming more and more serious, both in the frequency and the mortality rates in recent years. The two species of mosquito which are known to carry dengue fever prefer to lay their eggs in containers close to human habitations and are not well controlled by standard spraying techniques. The spread of dengue throughout the world can be directly attributed to the proliferation and adaptation of these mosquitoes. Over the last 16 years, dengue has become more common. For example, in South Texas, 55 cases were reported in 1999 and 1 death. More recently, Hawaii recorded 85 cases of dengue in 2011, and the Florida Keys reported over 20 cases in 2010. In 2004, Venezuela reported more than 11,000 cases of classic dengue fever and more than 700 cases of dengue hemorrhagic fever. In Indonesia, dengue outbreaks resulted in 600 deaths and more than 54,000 non-fatal cases. In 1999, Laredo and Nuevo Laredo had outbreaks of almost 100 cases. So it's not getting better. It's
Getting worse.
It's getting worse.
In 2010, Puerto Rico experienced its largest outbreak of dengue with 21,000 cases reported. In 2009, Florida reported the first cases of local dengue transmission in 75 years within Old Town Key West.
Right, so it's not somebody that went on vacation and came back and had it. It's somebody that actually got bit by a mosquito there in Florida. In Florida.
Yeah, I think I'm done going to the Florida Keys now.
Yeah, can't go anywhere tropical.
No.
Yeah.
Despite thorough attempts to control the mosquito population carried out by the county and state in early 2010, by the end of 2010, Florida had reported an additional 65 locally acquired dengue cases. The majority of these cases were actually in Key West.
So really,
Key West.
Yeah, it increased a lot over 1 year.
Well, here in the U.S., West Nile is the leading cause of mosquito-borne disease. Currently, there is not a human vaccine for West Nile virus. It's not available to the public. There is a West Nile vaccine available for pets. Well, what the heck? Pets are okay, but we're not?
Well, not that they're okay, but
I mean,
it's been approved.
we can okay.
I don't know if...
I'm sure they're working on it. I mean, this is something that's not going away.
Right.
I know, but they start out keeping our pets safe, and then they worry about
Well,
us.
if you think
We have
about
to
it-
feed our pets.
okay,
Don't you think they should take care of us first?
Oh my gosh.
All right,
Okay.
typically, about 1 in 5 people infected with West Nile virus will develop symptoms. These symptoms include a fever, headache, body aches, joint pains, vomiting, diarrhea, or a rash. Most people recover completely from West Nile, but fatigue and weakness can last for weeks or months.
And unfortunately, 1 in 150 people who are infected with West Nile will develop more serious complications, including encephalitis, which is an inflammation of the brain, or meningitis, which is an inflammation of the spinal cord. Symptoms of a more severe West Nile illness may include high fever, headache, neck stiffness, stupor, disorientation, coma, tremors, convulsions, muscle weakness, vision loss, numbness, and paralysis.
Yikes.
Yeah, exactly. These more severe illnesses can occur in people of any age. However, people over 60 years of age are at a greater risk.
Okay.
People with certain medical conditions, such as cancer, diabetes, hypertension, kidney disease, and people who have received organ transplants are also at greater risk. I think we've talked about most of these on the show.
Mm-hmm.
The recovery from a more severe illness might take several weeks or even months, and damage to the central nervous system might be permanent. And finally, about 1 out of 10 people who develop more severe complications affecting the central nervous system will wind up dying.
Yikes.
Damn.
Yeah, it may be a small comfort, but if you are bitten by an infected mosquito, the chance of a person developing an illness is thought to be roughly 1 in 300. So a lot of people get bit by mosquitoes in the summer, but your likelihood of actually getting an illness from a mosquito bite are small or smaller than I would have thought. You may be able to help prevent the spread of mosquito-borne diseases by planting rain gardens, reducing standing water around your home, and when possible, if you could use insect screens in your windows or mosquito netting around your bedding, and wear insect repellent and protective clothing when possible.
Okay, so before we started, you were talking about other ways of preventing the disease.
Right.
You said that if you have a rain barrel, you can put a
screen at the top so that the mosquitoes can't lay eggs in the standing water in that rain barrel.
Okay.
And then also we have a flood prevention system around our house that collects rainwater and guides it away from the home. And we actually have nets in there as well.
And then don't you put pellets or something in there to kill?
There are a number of chemicals that can be used to help prevent the mosquitoes
if they lay eggs to keep the eggs from hatching or something.
Right.
It's kind of like birth control for mosquitoes.
Okay.
All right, then.
Yeah, no. So don't leave, if you can avoid leaving things like tires, wheelbarrows, and other things that can possibly collect water outdoors.
Actually, here in Illinois, there was a firm, a company that was fined by the state for leaving tires
Outside and
yeah,
collecting
to
water.
catch water, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't think their goal was to catch water.
No, well, yeah.
Right.
Aren't
And
these
then-
standard precautions, though, that you hear on the news and in
Yeah, but-
PSAs all the time, though?
Right. If everyone did
What they're supposed
what
to
they're
do.
supposed to do and made sure that there weren't containers of standing water outside and around their home, it could significantly reduce the mosquitoes' breeding ground, and that would be great. And then there are other things like if you have small divots in your lawn, you can fill those in because there could be standing water there. Or just not having grass, because grass roots are very shallow, the water isn't able to penetrate into the ground quickly. So if you have native plants for your area, they have very deep roots, so the water can penetrate deep into the soil quickly or more quickly, and then you avoid standing water that way too. So there are a number of things you can do.
Okay,
and
and
then-
all right, now we got a guy up on the roof right now doing gutters.
Right. Well, yeah, taking care of your employees is a great idea.
I didn't mean taking care of them. I just meant like dealing with the gutters and making
Oh,
sure that
right.
the gutters
Cleaned out.
drain properly.
Right. Yeah,
Taking
keeping your
care of the
gutters.
employees. Does she want me to bring them something to drink? What's going
We
on?
do bring everybody.
Did we mention these two haven't had much sleep?
No, we
Oh,
did
my
not sleep
God.
last night, and
All
it
right.
can really
Okay,
show.
back to
sleep
vectors. Okay.
deprivation.
Well, anyway, although we've barely scratched the surface on the topic of mosquitoes, I think it's time to wrap up the episode.
Sounds good to me. I also wanted to cover ticks, but we can wait for that. That can wait for another episode.
Ticks, yeah.
Are you serious? You want me to say we can tick that box another time?
It's on the script.
It's on
Ron.
the
It's
script.
on the
Go ahead and
script.
say it.
All right, we can tick that box another time.
If our listeners have any questions or comments, for instance, sleep before you record, people
Send
sleep.
them to somebody else.
Please sleep. They can contact us at podcastdx@yahoo.com, through our website, podcastdx.com, on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, or Instagram, or send us a mosquito.
No, don't send us a mosquitogram.
Thank
Okay.
God we do not have that camera set up to do the video. Oh my gosh.
Right. Oh, and also like bats can help. Bats.
No, let's
Oh,
not
yeah.
talk about bats.
No, bats eat the
Bats
mosquitoes.
eat the
Oh, I know,
mosquitoes.
but they're also pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
They are,
yeah.
but like they're where bats live, their homes are being destroyed every day, and then
Okay.
Yeah, it's
And-
like people using like explosive to get rid of a spider. You get rid of the spider, but then you lose half your house.
No, you set the house on fire.
Yeah,
to get rid of the
exactly.
spider.
No, bats are. I know they got some good purpose, but they're also pretty dangerous to humans.
They can be,
they can be only
if they carry rabies.
Right.
Same
Okay.
thing with possums or
Yeah.
raccoons.
And possums
They
eat
have their own
mosquitoes, too.
purpose in life as long as they don't carry rabies.
Right.
So I guess the idea is don't let them get rabies.
Okay.
We can cover that another time.
Oh, I'm so tired.
After you get some sleep.
As always, please keep in mind that this podcast is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Thank God.
Please seek out the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or treatment and before undertaking a new healthcare regime, and never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you've heard on this podcast.
Oh my God. Hey, tune in next week.